All right, Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Good morning, good morning, good morning to this, the Friday edition of Vuka Nazo, your morning news analysis show. This will be a slightly different show. It will be a much shorter show. This is an opportunity for me to say thank you. Thank you to you, the viewers, the guys who make the show what it is, the people who, in some cases, wake up with me every morning bright and early at 7:30 on a weekday in order to watch the show. And for those of you who watch this as the recording at least, who still do what I always ask, which is, of course, to hit that like button when you're watching the show, whether you're watching it live or pre-recorded, whether on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitter. And if you are watching on YouTube, to hit that subscribe button. It is you folks, the folks who are very much a part and parcel of, pardon me, this flu, or the tail end of it is still bugging me. But nonetheless, it's you, the folks who are with me in this journey, who always make it worth it. You are the folks who have seen me help me launch this website that we now have of BigDaddyLiberty.com. There are those of you who are supporting the show financially, right? Because you go to the website, you find a payment method, and every month you put aside $100 and it goes towards this show. So this morning is dedicated to you guys. And as I said, my apologies if you were waiting for something very serious and, you know, a nice news piece and the like. But I just figured, hey man, with this being the final episode for the year, basically, let me just take a moment to chat to you guys, the people who make the show what it is. Now, very quick disclaimer, or just FYI, there will be an episode of the BDL show tonight. That's where we're going to unpack the year's big stories. I have two great analysts who'll be joining me. So if you're looking for nice, meaty stuff, join me tonight, 7 p.m., Big Daddy Liberty Show, where I'll unpack the year that was as we wrap up the year with a big bang in that regard. But this morning, for the next 8 minutes or so, let me have a chat with you guys, because there's two things I want to basically share. Number one, the year, what it's been like, and a bit of full disclosure of what I do and, you know, what it really is. You know, I want to burst the myth that I'm some sort of mega millionaire, and that this is super profitable. And as my detractors often say, it's a grift. You know, he makes money hand over fist from all of those right wingers. Well, we're going to dispel that myth this morning. But also, I want to chat to you about next year. Next year is going to be an insanely important year, folks. And I really mean this, an insanely important year, in the sense that I'll be ramping up what I do on a ground level. If you are a BDL fan, you've been with me since the very beginning of this journey, you'll know that I've always said there's two things that I do. The one is the ground war, right? The ground war, which I've been a little, I've taken a step back from a bit, is me going out there physically to all corners and all pockets of South Africa to talk to South Africans and to persuade them to inject in communities around this country the sort of ideas that I think would create a much better South Africa, a South Africa that is defined by freedom, property rights, non-racialism, and effectively prosperity for the faith, flag, family, and freedom type South Africa. That's the kind of ground war and groundwork that I've been doing. So if you go back into my social media, you'll see that I used to travel in a branded bakkie, bought a bakkie, oh, pardon me, and traveled around the country, injecting these classical liberal, libertarian, or conservative ideas, the very sort of ideas that aren't characterizing the mainstream in this country. Someone had to begin to inject those ideas, because I always said this, and I'll continue to say this. South Africa is at a point of crisis, and any society that it is at a point of crisis, it is he who injects the greatest volume of ideas into that society who will win the day. And in that regard, I have massive opponents. I have very well-funded opponents who are funded even by corporates to push their bad ideas into our communities, to push their ideas of statism, socialism, and communism into communities that are desperately looking for an alternative message. And if they continue being the loudest voice in the room, if they continue funding sometimes mega billions into their messaging via the mainstream media, via the politicians in this country, via the political elites in this country, via the chattering classes, the intelligentsia in this country, if they continue being the loudest voice in the country, then we've lost this country. We've lost it completely. And it's up to a growing league of people like me and others, by the way, who are liberty-minded, people who are community and family first minded. It's up to people like us to begin to compete, to go toe to toe with these individuals, so that I will, and I do, work with organizations like the Institute of Race Relations, the more premier classically liberal organization, libertarian organization in this country that pushes these ideas that I hold into society, or at least tries to. Excuse me. I will work with organizations like the Free Market Foundation, which does excellent work in trying to push the ideas of a market economy, free trade, the idea of less taxation on a burdened South Africa, the idea of a market approach to creating and building wealth in this country, not wealth for politicians, not wealth for government, wealth for you, the ordinary South African, the faith, flag, family, and freedom type South African. You should be wealthy, damn it. Not the, I nearly swore, not the bloody politicians in this country who then lord their wealth over us, especially over us, poorer segments of society who live in townships, as I do, or in rural areas, as I also do on the farm, who then lord their wealth over us as if it's rightfully gained, the corrupt louts that they are. Enough with this. Enough with this. And if you really are someone who believes that it's enough with the dogma of the day, the socialist, communist, and statist dogma of the day, the race-obsessed society of the day, if you are tired of that absolute bullshit, then you've got to begin to support people like me, who, as I said, have given up careers, in some cases, lucrative careers in politics, which is an oxymoron in and of itself. Because I've always said to you, I'm not a secretive person. I'm a very open book person. Even my personal Facebook is open. I don't lock it. I hide nothing. There's nothing about me which is concealed. People know that I used to work in politics back in the day. I've done work for the Democratic Alliance because I thought they were classical liberals. I was mistaken. I've done work in the past for the Independent Democrats. I used to be a political consultant, a political communicator. I'm friends with very senior politicians in this country, from all aisles, by the way, not just the DA, the ID, even in the ANC. I have very good friends in the ANC, people who come to me and, believe it or not, to consult with me and say, hey, man, what do we do about this? Give me fresh ideas. And that's what I do. Or at least that's what I think I do. Let me not be presumptuous and pompous in my approach. It is but merely 20 to 8 in the morning. But look, so without waffling away, I'm really imploring you guys who have been with me on this journey to spread the message to your friends. Say, hey, man, there's a guy who's actually doing the very thing that we often talk about, but he's given up a career, he's given up a plush, comfortable middle-class life in order to do this. So that really, especially as I'm going more solo, it is you guys who are literally the backbone of what I do. So on today's show, I want to give you some insight as to what it is to do what I do, right? It is, as I said, 3 offerings basically that I've had predominantly over the last year, which was the Big Daddy Liberty Show, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. daily, weekdays at 7 a.m. Vuka Nazo came to you on your screens, a new offering for this year, and thank you all for the support of it. And of course, Sunday evenings, 8 p.m., my one long format show, almost Joe Rogan-ish type length of a show of Liberty and Friends. And you guys have really supported that, albeit I've been a little bit inconsistent lately with my content. So I'm going to chat about this year in 2 seconds, and then I'll chat about next year very briefly. And in my conversation about this year, about ending this year, I want to show you some numbers, right? As I said, I don't hide anything about myself. I'm not a secretive person. So I want to show you the numbers involved in the show and how you guys have made this show what it is. Let me see if I have this on screen. There it is. There are my analytics for what has been basically 2022 up till now. Let me just make it bigger. There we go. So there are the numbers. This year, you guys have viewed on YouTube at least. You've viewed my content, my videos, 808,981,000 times. So basically over 800,000 views this year. Watch time of 116,000 hours. There we go. I didn't know they do that. I've grown in terms of my subscribers by 3,300. Thank you very much. That's you guys who are doing that. You guys have joined the BDL wagon. And there you see it. That's how much I make from the advertising revenue. I'm not a millionaire, people. It's only $1,200. What is that in rands? That's it, times, what is it now? Times 16 or 17? So that's like what? Just over 18,000 Rand, I think. I think my math is somewhere right on that. I could be very wrong. Not much of a math buff. But yeah, I want you guys to see these numbers so you don't think I'm like some millionaire, or if, at least of which, do not believe my detractors, that I'm some sort of right-winger grifter making money hand over fist. These are the sort of figures that we're talking about here. And of course, then there's you guys who are part of that BDL club, who are putting aside the 50 to 100 Rand a month to support the show. It's you guys who are helping me piece together everything that I do. Of course, I have stuff that I do privately, like there's a small farming venture I have a small transport business. That's where I'm also getting money to live. But ultimately, these are the numbers involved here. This, of course, are my results for YouTube. Facebook is another platform where I put out content, right? Some of you are watching me on Facebook. What are the numbers there? I think the numbers there are a little better, albeit down from last year. That's what happens when you are in the video making game. You have some viral videos that boost your numbers and others which are just more on a consistent basis. So what do things look like on Facebook? Let's please share that screen. Share screen. Now just bear in mind, I don't make any revenue on Facebook. There's no advertising revenue there, pardon me, because Facebook is being a, yeah, I nearly saw there too. Let's just say it begins with a P and ends with the S. But Facebook is being a bit douchey in the sense that it doesn't like right-wingers, in inverted commas, as if I'm a right-winger, but nonetheless. I've decided to stop hating that expression. I'll just own it. For as much as it's not accurate description of who and what I do, I'll just own it, because who cares at this stage? Facebook, there we go. They're the numbers. From January 2022 to December today, about 472,000 of you, plus nearly 473,000 have viewed my videos. So again, big numbers involved here. But again, pardon me, big numbers involved here, but down from last year. I mean, the previous period, I had over 1 million views. So again, I just wanted you guys to have a sense of how important you guys are to me, how I don't take any of you for granted, how you guys literally are the backbone of this video, and for my videos, pardon me, and for my work. And for as much as I sit here sometimes and I think I'm talking into the ether, when you guys then say hello to me in public, and some of you scare me, I won't lie, because you sometimes treat me as if I'm a celebrity. I'm not. I'm just, I'm still an ordinary dude, man. So forgive me if I'm all awkward about it. But the point I'm really trying to get at is you made 2022 for me. You made this year. You've made my previous years and the year before that. But effectively, BDL, Big Daddy Liberty, is you. It's South Africa. It's South Africans. And I'm asking you to continue supporting me, because as we move into the next year, and this is where I'll conclude, Boy, oh boy, will there be some exciting stuff coming your way. Let me just quickly close this. I'll give you a taste because we're basically going to be doing the fine planning over this rest period. And we're going to be launching it in a major way, perhaps in March. So full disclosure, from now till March, there'll be the usual content once I'm back from leave in mid-January. But I'm using this period of leave to meet people who have expressed interest, maybe institutions also that have expressed interest to partner with me and the work that I do. I will be setting up various instruments in order to formalize Big Daddy Liberty as a brand. We're looking to compete and become a more mainstream, not in terms of ideas, but mainstream in terms of our presence, media offering, with maybe even a radio or even TV offering. And there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of planning in the background. Let me just quickly open up my planner for next year so that you understand exactly what we're doing here. And there's going to be a completely relaunched and much bigger thing in March next year. So there's a lot of work that we're going to be doing in the background. Come on, see clear, where is the planner? There it is. And no, I'm not putting this planner on screen. Let's quickly do that. That's one little piggy. No. Sorry, I just want to give you a taste of what we're going to be doing here. Forgive me if I look down. I'm just reading from my planner. So what stays? Vuka Nazo definitely stays, and it might even begin to have, as we sort of expand what we're doing, we're going to have hosts. We're going to have different voices on the show who are conservative, classically liberal, libertarian anarchists, people who you've seen before, who are, familiar faces, but we're going to have a revolving door of guys who can host the show, the daily morning show, as I'm traveling and effectively creating content and meeting you as South Africans across the country. So where I'm unable to be the host for Vuka Nazo, you might see another face, I won't name names, but effectively you might see a few familiar faces in that regard. So Vuka Nazo stays as a show. The Big Daddy Liberty Show, which has been a Wednesday 7 p.m. show every week, is now going to be scaled down to maybe once a month. And why is that the case? Well, it's going to be once a month because part of the traveling work that I'll be doing is also doing more investigative journalism work and also mini sort of documentaries, if you will, talking to South Africans about issues and problems that we face and offering libertarian, classically liberal, liberty-orientated solutions in real time, then showing that to you. So a bit like a carte blanche series, a bit of a carte blanche insert, but in about 35 to 40 minutes. So that show now becomes once a month as we film basically and create that content. Much more professional, God willing, if we do get the funding that I'm targeting, it'll be much more professional, very slick, and effectively you'll see the groundwork is what I'm trying to tell you. You'll see where, when I'm in a township in rural Northern Cape or Limpopo or whatever, and I'm interacting with communities, you'll get to see that work and how injecting liberty ideas changes a community. So we'll bring you that about once a month. It's going to become a bit of a feature in that regard. And we keep Liberty and Friends every Sunday at 8 p.m., that long feature show. Liberty and Friends is going to become a lot more sort of Joe Roganish style, where I'll bring some influential people, key thinkers, key guys, whether they're politicians, not many key thinkers there, intellectuals, or just interesting personalities, guys who we can talk to, and you will always be a part of Liberty and Friends. You will always be a part of the show. It's the most interactive show I have. Literally, your comments are on screen. So we're keeping that. And as I said, we're now beginning to hit the road with campaigns. Now, the politicians will be campaigning next year. You can bet your bottom dollar of that because it's in the run-up to 2024, the election. So I said, well, why don't I campaign too? But I'm not looking for votes, of course. I'm looking to change people's perceptions of what politics should be. Enough with the socialism, enough with the communist nonsense, enough with the state dependency. How about we push the ideas that create a free, prosperous, non-racial, and property-owning society. A society defined by strong families at the most basic level. Strong families, a ubaba and umama in the household, a father and a mother in the household, raising kids in a safe community where there's good education, healthcare, and the like. These ideas around this that are liberty orientated is what I will be campaigning on as I hit the road. So if you are on my website, the website's going to grow a little bit in terms of it will have, as I said, that BDL club. The BDL club will allow you to keep in tabs of where I'll be in the country, where I'm hosting talks, I'm doing door-to-door campaigns, pushing out liberty messages and leaflets on a door-to-door basis, whether I'm in a street corner or in the middle of an intersection with a liberty message, doing something along those lines. These are the sort of campaigns I will be doing next year. And with your support financially, we will be able to do this. Someone has to begin to compete with the politicians and their toxic messaging with actual ideas that South Africans can then politically demand, as they have learned them from me and other liberty-orientated people. So that's what's going to be happening next year. So keep an eye out on the channel, keep an eye out on the website. There'll be so much information. And you, as always, dear South African, you are always a part of what I do. I do this for the love of country. I do this for the love of you, the faith, flag, family, and freedom type South African. So that's it, folks. That's it for this episode of Vuka Nazo. Apologies for being a bit longer, but these are the plans. Firstly, that thank you for 2022, showing you the numbers involved for 2022, thanking you guys who over the year have been the monthly contributors. At some stage, I'll do a proper episode just to say thank you to you guys, something fun for you. Don't worry, I won't name anybody if you don't want to be named. But there are some of you who have been very generous contributors to the show, guys who just put $50 and do so religiously every month, or $100 and do so. That's about the biggest donations I get. I mean, the biggest I've received was 500 Rand, a once off. Actually, no, I lied. The biggest donation I've received or contribution I received was from a dude, I won't name it because I don't have the permission, who gave me 5 grand, actually. And I actually use that to buy some mics and good equipment. So again, there are those of you who really are people who are supporting the show financially and doing so every month. And I'm very thankful to you. You and those who view and like the show have made my 2022. So that 2023, next year, will be a very big year as we begin to, as I said, bolster the ground war. You'll see me in your communities. We'll be traveling this country, injecting liberty ideas, injecting non-racialism, property rights type ideas. And of course, as I said, that being the ground war, the air war will remain. Vuka Nazo as a daily offering will remain, even if it has different hosts at times. The Big Daddy Liberty Show will remain, but we'll have a 1 episode a month, and it will be more carte blanche, where I go to community, identify an issue, and push an intervention, or just suggest or even enact change in that community. So once a month will be the BDL show, and of course, Liberty and Friends every Sunday, long format interviews, which I know you like. Guys, with that mouthful, I then say to you, thank you very much for watching. Please continue supporting the show. And remember, if you want to contribute to the show, I know some of you might be wondering, how do we then contribute? Like $50 a month, I can do that. $100 a month, I can do that. And you're wondering how to do that? Go to my website. Go to my website at bigdaddyliberty.com. Scroll to the bottom and you'll see various payment methods, whether it's Patreon, PayPal, or an EFT, whatever. It's up to you. And again, guys, don't feel forced to do this. It's not the be all end all. But it is, as I've always said, I want to become a personality, a media personality who's supported by ordinary people. I don't want to take big corporate money. I'm not going to take money from mega millionaires, as in some cases it has been offered, but it's dubious money nonetheless. I want to be crowdfunded by ordinary people who support the show. There's literally 75,000 of you plus on the Facebook group, 37,000 plus of you on YouTube. I mean, if only 1,000 of you put aside $50 a month, we would have the sort of funding to do the work that I know we're going to do next year. And forgive the smile, I'm just excited and happy about what we're about to pull off next year. let's just say this: politicians are going to fear me next year. Politicians are going to fear me next year if I have things my way. But anyway. With that being said, let me not share too many of my dreams and aspirations. Guys, thanks for watching. This is the final Vuka Nazo for 2022. With that being said, hit the like button. Yes, I'm back to saying that. Hit the like button. And of course, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And don't forget to go to our website at bigdaddyliberty.com, where you can contribute financially by finding information there, or just, as more information is available about the ground war next year, you'll get to see where exactly I'll be in the country. And on that beautiful note, I'll see you tonight, 7 p.m., for the absolute final episode of the BDL show for 2022, where we have hard analysis of the year that was. We look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of 2022 with solid analysis from my two guests. I'll see you tonight on the BDL show. With that being said, thanks for watching, and a hearty reminder for you to never trust a commie.